Ladies and gentlemen, I gave a talk recently on transformational leadership for the Institute of Leadership and Management in the UK. We were having a conversation with their CEO, John, and I was talking about transformational leadership, and one of his first questions that came to me was, how do transformational leaders stand out? How are they different from the rest of us? To which my response was, transformational leaders are leaders on steroids. They're hypercharged, but more importantly, they're on a mission. These are folks who refuse to accept the status quo. These are folks who question the status quo. These are folks who are optimistic and who believe that there is a better tomorrow. And I'm so pleased to share with you that we have one such powerful transformational leader here with us on this next episode of the Beginner's Mind series, and her name is Dr. Hynd Bouhia, all the way from Morocco. And she's a professor, mentor, Harvard alumni, and was listed among the 100 most powerful women in the world. She's on a mission to empower 1 billion girls and women across the world to grow confident, resilient, tech-savvy, and financially free. And we'll take a deep dive into all those aspects. She's the author of Africa Girl and African Woman, and an inspirational book on empowering women. And I'm sure the core principles of that wonderful book are applicable not only to women in Africa, but across the world. Dr. Hynd has accumulated more than 20 years of professional experience in high-level leadership positions. She was nominated by Forbes magazine among the 100 most influential women and the most influential Arab women in business 2015, honored as a member of the Johns Hopkins Society of Scholars 2018. Armed with a Harvard PhD and engineering degree from Central Paris, Dr. Hynd started her career at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. before joining Morocco's Prime Minister and Casablanca Stock Exchange as the managing director. So as you can already see, that's a very interesting mix. Her career's been on a wonderful trajectory, and we are so pleased to have her with us today. Please join me in welcoming her with a huge round of virtual applause. Dr. Hynd, you're welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
No, it's a pleasure. Absolutely. Your journey, your mission is inspiring. And I'm so glad we came across your LinkedIn profile. And the moment I read about your journey and your mission, I said, we've got to have you on the show. And I'm so glad that you could spare time for us. I'd like to begin, Dr. Hynd, by asking you about your mission of empowering women. You have this wonderful, you've given yourself a vision of empowering 1 billion girls and women across the world to grow confident, resilient, tech-savvy, and financially free. Given the fact that you've had such a successful career track, what drew you to this mission? And what's your inspiration, drive, and vision as far as empowering women is concerned?
Well, thank you. And thank you for the beautiful introduction. It's just, you put it so nicely. I love it.
You deserve it.
Yes, I have been in my mission. Actually, I always loved development. That has been something that was in my heart from the start, really. I mean, I grew up loving science and wanting to be an engineer in a time where very few girls were going to engineering or going to science. And so I knew there is something to be done there about just showing and paving the way to show women that, you know, they can thrive in any field they want. So I've been driven by really carrying more women with me as I was opening paths, because that's what I was doing. I found myself many times just being the lonely woman in large meetings, large classrooms with boys and girls. So development has been in my heart forever. I think since I was a child, I have always wanted to just help and see others going and going forward. And I did that through my career.
Well, that's fantastic. Do you know the Indian Army, we have a motto which goes something like this: know the way, go the way, and show the way. And often what happens is people skip step number 2. They know the way, they theoretically, academically acquire the knowledge of what ought to be done. They don't actually go the way, and then they start showing the way to others, which is not probably the right sequence. And so you found your way, you traveled your way, and now you're showing the way to women across the world through your masterminds, I saw, through your coaching programs, through so many other things that you're doing, through your courses and your book. Since you mentioned your journey as lonely at times in fields dominated by men traditionally, finance, I'm assuming, and as well as the science engineering degree which you chose. You come from a traditional culture yourself. You traveled across the world. Talk to us about what major influences have shaped your outlook. What was it like challenging and breaking all these barriers that you encountered perhaps on your journey?
Well, this is a great question. And let me take you back when I was really young. Because it all started when I was accepted to the top engineering schools, and my parents didn't want to let me go because it was in France. Because at that time, young girls, they get married and they said they have their family, so they don't really travel or go study abroad. It was just a no deal. And I had my professors and the dean of the school come to talk with my parents to tell them that you cannot stop your daughter from having all the opportunities and put everything she can, but with her, so that she can have a better future. And I think that moment had just shaped me forever, because the moment where I was able to break free, if I may say it, but tiny bit, because it wasn't really breaking free completely. And I will tell you more as when we dive into the mastermind and how it is structured. But diving free from saying, okay, here's just a little habit that you can break, which is not staying home, not following what the parents, what the society, what the traditions are dictating. And by going to France and being an engineer, of course, you carry the guilt, and I carried that guilt, and I carried that needing to show that you didn't make a mistake by letting it go, not at all. You let me go, and because I'm there, I'm helping my sisters, I'm helping my brother, I'm helping whoever I can, so that they can also shine through their journey and through what they do. And so when I was in France, I said, okay, I want development. I want to learn technologies, to learn things that are so advanced, so that I can come back and use them in my country, so that my country can also thrive and develop. And so it was kind of, I had already that mission, because I was allowed to break free from a habit that is so many years back. And so I was at Central and as an engineer, and then I said, okay, what's the best next step? Knowing little of English and all the movies were talking about Harvard, I said, this is it. Okay, let's do it. And I just went to Harvard.
Wow. It's wonderful you say that, perhaps while you were there, and then you thought, what's the next step that's going to be? I was talking to a wonderful gentleman the other day, Mr. Paul Dupuis, who's the CEO of Randstad Japan, and he wrote a wonderful book on leadership, and one of his steps is envisioning. And we were talking about how young kids are so natural when it comes to envisioning. Grown-up adults, we probably need to be in a leadership retreat or, go to a workshop in order to do what we did effortlessly when we were kids. That was to dream big, right? And you did just that. And not only did you dream big, you accomplished it. Who would you give the primary credit? I mean, what are the major influences? What role did your parents, your educators, your teachers, coaches, mentors, influences that you had on this journey who nudged you forward saying you can do it?
Excellent. That is so very true. It's all about setting up a goal, visualizing it, and making it your objective. And also being always ready to listen, to get mentors. So yes, from professors, and looking up to someone who you can use as your role model. And I think that's what I did, because being with professors and being, in front, I mean, the school is amazing, in the engineering school, and we meet different people and we always get inspired. And I think once you have an ambition and you can really believe that you can do it, so it's all come back to what's your inner belief. And if you believe that, then on your way, you'll find someone who can mentor you or inspire you. And that's my really message, is that no matter where you are, and I really mean it, no matter where you are, you can be in the most marginalized area in the world, on a mountain, anywhere, thinking that you are so far away. And if you have your own vision and a goal, and you believe that yes, you can do it and it will come to your life, somehow you'll find someone in your path who will just give you that little hand, or just that little courage or advice you need it so bad, so that you can reach what you want. And yes, that's what has gone through. So of course, I had a good professor, but that's, when you are in engineering and you are one of the very few women, you better work hard and get good grades. So that's what you do, you work hard.
You got to prove it's like you have to prove yourself, right?
Somehow. Because we don't understand otherwise, but that's okay, because that's to your honor, because you studied hard, because you become excellent in what you do. And that's for everyone. If you want to succeed in whatever area, whatever field, work for it. Strive to become excellent, because you want to be the greatest in what you do. And when you're there, not only you build your confidence, but you shine through your confidence, because you're so excellent in what you do and you master it, that there will be hands coming, joining you, so that they can push you.
Yeah,
and they
it'll
can
be the other way around.
That's
beautiful. That deserves a round of applause. It does.
I love that. More applause.
I could relate with what you said about having to work extra hard to prove yourself in an environment where probably you were the only one, or some people might doubt, right? And you're trying to challenge the conventions. I worked across 5 different countries and different cultural settings. Sometimes I was the only person of Indian origin in that group, in that team, leading that team. And I would have to either to get a job, or to succeed at the job, or to for that next promotion, I would have to put in that 20% extra just to make things even. But the beauty of that entire mindset is it's how you look at it. I did not look at it from the perspective of why me, but what happened is, over the course of time, it became a habit, and now as a habit, I'm used to doing that 20-30% more from what somebody around might be doing, right? And which has become a part of my DNA. Also, what you said, I'd like to build upon what you said about believe in your vision first, and then you'll find mentors, and then you'll find sources of inspiration. I feel a lot of people are stuck waiting for somebody to rescue them. A lot of us are waiting for that savior, that messiah who's going to come and say, hey, here I am, and I'm going to change your life. And while nothing could be further from the truth, because it is you who has to be ready first. It is you who has to believe that, yes, there's a better life for me. I deserve more. Dr. Hynd, perhaps you'll agree with me. Most people are very good at underestimating themselves. We are very, very good at underestimating what we can do, and we are very good at overestimating the challenges that lie ahead. So systematically, we become our own worst enemies, and as you rightly said, it's you who believed in that vision first, and then people showed up around you, and here you are today, a source of inspiration for women across the world, and not just in Africa. My next question, Dr. Hynd, is going to be about women in careers. COVID-19 has been a very tough time. There's been layoffs. The service industry in particular has suffered a lot. Banking, aviation, hospitality, tourism, travel and trade, conventions, events. I'm sure there's a lot of women listening to this conversation right now, and men too, who perhaps are feeling stuck professionally. They've got these demands of the family to meet. They have their career aspirations. They would like to do something, achieve something, be a source of inspiration to others, but they're feeling stuck. And add to that the additional responsibilities of you're a mother of 4 beautiful kids yourself, I believe, right? Your profile said that,
Yes.
right? Speak to us from that perspective, please. Offer some words of guidance and inspiration, especially for women who might be listening to this conversation, who might be feeling stuck in their careers at the moment.
Yes, you've said many amazing things, and I want to speak to the first one about how you always need to work a little more to prove yourself and to show, you need to add that 20% or that 30%. And it's all about your mindset and how you feel inside you, because that's your self-image. So what do you see about yourself? If you see yourself that you are needing to do that, that's how you're going to always do. And for women is more than for men, I'm afraid. So let me be more women now.
Sure.
Okay, because why? Because they grew up in an environment in their own house where, okay, she's a woman, then let your brother, who's a big boy, who cannot cry because he's a man, and then the woman, she's just fine. She's just, she can help, she can do this, she can do many things, and it's never enough. She didn't finish doing stuff in her own homework.
It is assumed that she would do all that, right?
Is assumed that she will do all that. She makes her always feel she's not doing enough. And that's not doing enough. Make her want to work more. But she doesn't have to, because she's perfect the way she is. And the way we see ourselves is what we have carried with us from the past, is our paradigm, is the things we do habitually. And that's where the shift needs to start, which takes me really perfectly to the situation today with the pandemic and that feeling of being stuck because so many responsibilities, so many things to be in charge of, the house, the home, the children, your needs, the food, everything. And so it makes them feel completely lost and scattered.
Yeah, Zoom classes, add to that Zoom classes. I mean, children at least used to go to school before, and now we have kids at home attending classes in different bedrooms of the house. And
exactly. So the house is like a school now. Everyone has to need a corner. And, welcome to my world, where I have 4 children and I had to manage them all in one side. But you can see good and fun in all this. And just be grateful for being able to follow the children and to be knowledgeable and to not to be like the other generation. And I think just by coming out from being completely swamped and drawn in the problems and feeling, okay, let me be grateful for the little things I can do.
Right.
And when you have that attitude, when you change your vibration into some grateful vibration, into things that, you're just happy to have, your mind shifts and suddenly you start finding solutions in how to improve where you are and understanding what you can give. Because it's not about the economy being good or bad. People become millionaires because of COVID, that. Depends on what industry you are. Do you know that today we have $1 billion is spent daily, on digital training and learning,
Wow.
Which means that everyone can just come and give a little something and grab a tiny 0.000% of that, 1%
very big pie,
and just be happy. So there are opportunities in every corner. The question is that does that woman or man has gave the space in his mind to find that opportunity and to believe that he can reach it. Because if you spend your time thinking about the problems and the money and the debt, and that's what you are attracting more in your life.
Yep, absolutely.
It takes a lot of work, but also it takes a big will. And when you decide and you have the will to do that, then you can create whatever you want in your life.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I completely agree with what you said about what is your dominant point of focus, because that's what you're going to draw into your life. I was reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind a couple of days back, and this one particular chapter jumped out, which said, stop trying extra hard. When you're trying extra hard for something, now, this is the dichotomy here that we have to make peace with, because we're told, we're programmed, go the extra mile, work hard, give your best. But at the same time, this book on the power of your subconscious mind, Dr. Murphy is talking about, stop trying extra hard, because that's you telling your subconscious mind that there is, I'm not good enough. And there is, I ought to be, I have to appear like this person in order to be confident, while, as you rightly said, it's deep within you. It's about making peace with your own flaws and your limitations. I had a wonderful conversation with Marissa Peer last year, and I loved her slogan. She said, I am enough. The slogan, I love that, I am enough, which is, and I say dichotomy because the I am enough does not mean that you stop trying, that you stop learning, that you stop improving. The I am enough means that accept yourself as a work in progress, that you're not perfect and nobody is. You mentioned the guilt earlier, and men, we don't have it. When I speak of the Indian subcontinent and other parts of Asia here, when a young boy is sent to a foreign land to study or to go for a university education, you mentioned that you have that guilt of, I have to prove myself, etc. Guys don't have it. We don't have the guilt. We are actually, there's a sense of pride. Oh wow, look, I'm making this thing happen. I'm so proud of it, and I'm making my family proud. But there's this additional psychological burden on women that our society has programmed over centuries that needs to go away. Could you speak to us a little bit about how women who are tuning in to this conversation today could overcome that guilt? Because we're conditioned, women are conditioned, and society has conditioned them in a way to behave and conform and to live up to certain expectations, and why that needs to change?
Yes, the guilt is with women all the way, and particularly with women who have to have a family and a work, and they always look for that balance between spending more time with their children and more time and giving more time to their work. And so they always feel guilty if they spend too much time working that they didn't spend time with their children.
Right.
And they need to stop, because that's hurting themselves. And I think children have they have always been proud of their mother when she thrive in her work, when she creates more opportunity, more wealth for them, and a better life, because that's what they do, and they should be proud of themselves of doing that. So
not just mom in the kitchen, maybe mom in the office too, mom at the workplace too. Yeah.
Yes, they love that. It's their role model. They aspire and they're admiring her. And she needs to shift that guilt into pride. She needs to be every morning grateful and proud of what she's accomplished, and happy and proud of her children, because they're looking up to her, because she's back home when she's great, when she's feeling good, they feel it. The house is good. Children are happy. When the woman is stressed and nervous and she's struggling and guilty, the children feels it.
Yeah, it spreads everywhere, not just the children, huh, Dr. Hynd? Everybody.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I know, but I didn't want to go to that one.
Oh, well. You can't. Yeah, it's all vibrational.
Feels it. So we want a happy woman. We want a woman that is so content and so fulfilled and pleased with what she's accomplished, because she's in line what she really wants inside her. And if her work is what she wants inside her, she needs to fill her cup with so much love to her, and so much that she can give to her children, to everyone around her. And it starts by getting rid of the guilt. There is no room for guilt. Change the guilt to something you're proud of. Change its perception. Change your perception of how you see yourself. And I'm always coming back to seeing yourself as you can see, because it is the essence. The self-image is the essence of what going to help you thrive or stay in your, vicious, not happy, whatever you are.
Sure.
So come out of it and turn that into something you're grateful, proud, and happy about, because that vibrates and everything will work for you.
Indeed. And I'd like to add from a male perspective here that, the minus the COVID, the lockdown times, so February 2020 onwards, the previous 13 years, I was traveling extensively, right? So some months I'd be gone for 20 days, right? And you talked about turning that guilt into a matter of pride and having an open conversation. So I was carrying that guilt as a father too, as a father to two young daughters who were growing up, who needed me around them at that point of time. So I did my best to, when I was at home, when I was not traveling, I'd have 0 appointments to ensure that I had the entire day. Not that that would make up for my absence, but then as my daughters started growing up, they say, why do you have to go? And I tell them, would you rather have me here at home miserable? Or would you rather daddy go and do what he needs to do and come back happy, right? And I think it's the same perspective. And then people would question it too. Why? How are you gonna make peace with this fact that you're traveling so much? And I'd say, how about someone who's enlisted in the army, for example? They get to go home maybe 10 or 15 days in a year, if at all the leave is sanctioned, if at all they could be with their families, those who are stationed at the borders or at the front. And it's just, I know it's challenging, but there's got to be a middle path. There's got to be, as you said, shift that guilt into a sense of pride. I had a huge argument once, Dr. Hynd, with a couple of young guys I was living with when I was in the US. See, I come from a family of working women. So these were not American. These were not American guys. These were folks who had come from India, and they were my other people that I knew while I was there. So my grandmother was a practicing gynecologist. Back in the times when our entire district, that is maybe 6 or 7 towns, had one gynecologist, and 2 actually. In fact, they were both classmates. So my grandmother and another classmate. 2 gynecologists in the entire area, and that's how I grew up. She was obviously, being the only doctor in the region, she was doing very well for herself. She added immensely to the family financially, and her psychological support, having her around. My mother taught for 35 years as a professor, and then she had a full-time job along with bringing children up. My father was not there at home, and he was working in different other cities, so he would come back over the weekend. So it was seeing mom juggle these different roles, putting on her beautiful sari and going for her classes in the morning, coming back home, cooking for us and all that. So these folks, the other 2 people that I was with, said, "Oh, you know what? Working mothers don't make good moms." And I had because I took a strong exception to it, and we had a huge argument over, etc. But because what those people perhaps have not seen is another perspective, is another way of living. They're looking at the world from their perspective only, which is, this is how it's always been, and this is how it should be. This is what a role that's been defined by society, and that's how it should be. While, and I can tell you, I'm so proud, because if my mom would not be teaching at that college, we would not have all the wonderful books that I grew up with. We would not have all her friends were other faculty members who would come over. I would not have grown up with that sort of people around. We would have she would have a different set of friends, and we would have different influences. We would not have the additional income coming into the house to go and do the things that I wanted to do. And I'm so proud that she juggled between those roles, and as you rightly said, replace that guilt with a sense of pride and believe in yourself. Thank you so much, Dr. Hynd.
I love this. This is amazing. But can you see what they made of you? Your grandmother and your mother, they made of you a star, a shining star to come talking to everyone around the world. And that's because they were pioneer. As a gynecologist, please give her I celebrate women like that. And that's what I really do. I celebrate them because it's thanks to them. They have inspired so many others to follow, and they created a beautiful generation, which is you. Look at that.
Thank
Doing
you.
the same thing for your daughters. And that's what we need more of, because that's how the world will change.
Yep.
Amazing.
I sincerely believe. Thank you so much. No, in fact, as I walk into my office, Dr. Hynd, I've got my grandmother's photograph right up there because she had a very strong work ethic. 4 a.m. every morning, she'd be up. By 5 a.m., she'd had done her prayers and be in her clinic. 5 a.m. And she did this until she was 82. And she had the strongest work ethic in our entire family. I mean, like folks would get up 2 hours after her. She'd be up early every day doing what needed to be done. And I've always looked up to that. Since your book is on women empowerment,
Yes.
and you've done a lot of research, you coach a lot of women as well in your programs. Talk to us about what do you feel are the top career mistakes, common yet top career mistakes that women make on their journeys?
Yes, that's why I said I am so proud and so happy to see women like your family members. And this is why I wrote this book exactly. So if I may show it.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
sure.
African girl, African woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about Arab women, African women, but in reality, it covers Asian women, Latin American women, every woman who understand what it is to come from a developing world and having to strive so that she makes her place and she reach whatever she wants. And I'm telling them that when you are agile, when you have a discipline, when you believe in what you can do and excel in what you do, you can be the leader. And that's what we need more of today. We need more women ready, inspired, and role models like your mother and grandmothers. That's what I celebrate in this book. I have a whole chapter celebrating this amazing women who have, worked hard, showed discipline, showed dedication, and believed in their mission. Because when you believe in yourself, in the role you play, by giving back to the society, by providing a service that is for a greater good, you become unstoppable. You know how to discipline yourself. You know how to wake up so motivated because your mission is waiting for you. And because there are so many people, men and women, waiting and needing to hear your voice and to see you lead the way so that they can aspire to a better future. And so what are the wins and the falls for careers? The wins are clear. The wins is start with the mindset of winning. So whenever you start with that mindset, you will see winning happening in your life. Once you start with a mindset that, you're not there to win, you don't deserve to win, how can you expect anything to come from that? Success is 95% mindset, only 5% actions, and work hard. And that 95%, if it's not well structured, where are you going to get it from? And so that's why I've created my method and my method is to help women believe in themselves first. So believe in it, act on it, and lead with it. That's my slogan. Because you need to believe in reaching success, deserving success, in being enough, like Marisa Pierce said, as you mentioned, in being deserving the best in your life. And that you can have your family, you can have your children and have happy children. And in the same time, you can thrive to gain more wealth, more opportunity, and have a sustainable impact around you. And by acting on it, mean get the tools, get the skills, learn. Whatever is missing for you, become tech savvy. You need technology today. You need technology because with technology from your space, your room, your house, you can reach the global sphere.
Indeed.
And that's what makes the world different. That's why fathers, when they travel and they go far away for their work, it's okay because the world had changed. Because the digital development makes you there no matter where you are.
Uh-huh.
for your children. So even if you're far away, you're still there. You're still sharing the love. You're still having the caring. You're still connected through Zoom, through WhatsApp, through whatever. You have so many ways to be there.
Yeah,
So
it's a new
let's go.
economy altogether. It's a new
Of course,
economy.
it's a new way of being. It's a
Yeah.
new way of connecting with in your own family.
Mm-hmm.
And become financial and gain some financial intelligence, because by breaking free and being in control and on top of your finance,
Uh-huh.
everything become easier. And that's part of this acting, getting all the tools. Once you have that, you can lead by shining through your mission, through your work, the service you provide,
Yeah.
and through whatever you want to share with the world, with your community, and with your customers, or just your partners, or whatever venture you are in.
Well, that's very powerful. Any tips on since you've talked a lot about financial discipline and the financial planning, financial freedom, and finance, of course, is a huge part of freedom for anyone, male or female, any human being on this planet. Finances play a huge role, because that's where a lot of people feel that, I wish I'd had more money or more capital, or doing something. Now that we live in a bold new economy, what are your top recommendations in terms of financial freedom and financial empowerment?
Well, don't wish you had more money. Work for it. Define it. Money is just a mean. I think that's what makes people having an confused relationship often with money, because you need to focus on the service you provide. Money comes once you are so focused and excellent in whatever you offer. The money will flow. You will attract money to you. The law of attraction, of compensation, is showing that money is connected to the ratio of 3 points. What are these 3 points? One is the need for what you do. So choose service or a product. Find the gap in your market, the gap in whatever area you are.
Okay.
Go for it. The second is being so great at what you do, so excellent that you master it. So your ability of providing that service, or your excellence in the product. And the third one is the difficulty there is to replace you. Once you have this, money's coming. It's just it will flow to you. So focus on what you want to create and provide and give. What is that service that you can be so excellent in it, and you are needed because you studied your market so well. You position yourself in it so that customers would just be magnetized to you and what you offer.
I love your BAL method, the BAL method, the believe, act, and lead. And I think all three are critical components. If you don't have the belief that I could do it, you'll never take action. If you have the belief, but you never take the first step, you won't be able to accomplish anything. That's where a lot of people are positioned. They probably have the self-belief there. Because you see, if an idea's come to you, there's something within you that's telling you you can do it. Otherwise, the idea wouldn't come to you. Just because your mind can entertain that idea, that means there is some amount of capacity, capability already within you. That's why that idea has come to you. And what you need to do is now act on it. And that's where a lot of people miss out on. They don't take the first step. And I feel whether it's on journeys of improving careers or entrepreneurship, we fail to act. And you see, there's no shortage of mentors now, Dr. Hynd. Perhaps you'll agree with that.
I agree. Absolutely. Yeah.
There's online courses, there's LinkedIn Lives, there is so much information floating, so much of wisdom floating on Facebook in a single day that our grandparents perhaps did not have access to in their entire lifetimes that we have in a single day. So it's all about taking action. I'm reminded of this little example. My wife, she made this traditional North Indian thing. It's called a pinni in the winters. Now, what it is, it is made from flaxseed, which is high in omega-3, along with some other traditional, North Indian things. And it's like the winter thing to have with a cup of milk or a cup of tea or coffee. So what happened, I really loved this pinnies that she made, this sweet little, these sweets, the winter sweets that she made. So I said, okay, I love them, and why don't you put them online for sale? And she says, no, I can't possibly be doing that. So I said to my family, I said, look, she makes these really nice pinnies. I'm going to package them beautifully. We'll put up a few photographs on Facebook, and we'll put them up for sale in the winters. There was it was like a scandal in our family. No, we can't obviously be doing this. What are people going to say about this? There's like 100 objections. So I told her, I said, we're not going back. Give me batches of maybe 16 or 20. I want you to experience success, that you could. And she was like, are you serious? And now there's a huge amount of self-doubt and, all that conditioning that she was battling. And long story short, Dr. Hynd, this is what I did. We put them in these beautiful glass jars. We packaged them nicely. I took a few photographs, put it up on Facebook. Lo and behold, in the next 3 hours, all the 16 of them were sold. Next 3 hours.
Amazing. I love that.
I had someone from one of my team members say, okay, would you please go help us delivering these? They were delivered the same day. I said, are you ready to make another batch now? And that was, she's not doing it professionally, as such, but it was a small experiment in building up some important lessons about life, which are until you act, you don't get anything. Talk to us more about the BAL method, your powerful transformational program, the Believe, Act, Lead method, and what are some of the first steps that our audience can perhaps undertake in their own journeys to take something away from this powerful model?
Well, some of the steps, finishing up on this beautiful example from your wife, is taking your wife to become a billionaire doing that. Let me take her and do that. That's what I do. I make that. I make women millionaires and billionaires.
Okay. I'll have her sign up for your course then, Dr. Hynd.
Yes.
All right.
Because you know why? Because that's how finance works. If you have a product that you can sell to millions, you already there in the millions, in the 100 millions. So choose something you can expand.
Yeah.
You can reach out.
Sure.
So the BAL method, how does it work? It's a 3-month mastermind, and it's a very, it's a high-level mastermind, VIP mastermind, because I have a lot of leaders joining. And the idea is to power up being together. So it's really a collective intelligence as we get in through the whole process. So there is a platform of lessons and to go through the whole transformational journey so that ladies can go through them at their pace. But we also have meetings and accountability so that everyone feels that they start seeing the changes. And the changes happen within 2-3 weeks because you start shifting your mind.
Sure.
And you said it so well. It's easy to have great ideas. Everybody has them. It's easy to have a goal. We all think of nice things. I mean, the ideas are not lacking. But why is not everyone reaching those goals? That's the question. It's not because they don't have the skills or the intellect. No, it's because how they're programmed. And that's what we work on. And that's what the subconscious is all this programming that they carry throughout the years from their childhood and from the environment where they've been that is blocking them. Because you said it, somebody will say, oh, why are you doing that? Do you think you can do it? Do you have the strength to do it? Do you think you are, this and that, this person? Or then they come picking up names of people who have done it, but they doubt themselves. And if they didn't, they would hear someone else doubting them. And this whole process is to shut down those little voices inside you that keeps you down, and then shift them, and then just create a new model in your mind that is so powerful of what you want to become and what you want to attract in your life, so that the old one is obsolete, so that old habits don't have room anymore, don't have space. This little voice, you don't listen to her anymore because you've changed to what you want to become. So understanding how the spirit and how the mind work is really learning something. It's like you learn how to play piano or you learn how to do something new. You have to learn it.
Agree.
And then you can really work on that and strengthen and power up your mindset. So that's on all part. That's the belief part. And then on the acting part, that's how we dive into all the details about the skills that you need, about creating your own decision support system so that you know how to plan. You know how to fall back to other options, and
Yeah.
so that you don't completely let go of your goal.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
gain financial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
We also, and this is very special because to me, giving back and understanding the impact is so important. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a whole module to make every woman leader
Mm-hmm.
feel and understand that whatever action she does, she can make a difference in someone's life and add a smile in a child, in a woman, in a man, someone around the world, because we are a global sphere and we
Mm-hmm.
all can contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals
Mm-hmm.
of 2030 of the United Nations. And we all have whatever, something to play in it. Because once you put yourself in a bigger mission, your role, your goal will become bigger than you. And if it's
Sure.
bigger than you overcome obstacles. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
stops you. You get
Mm-hmm.
motivated because those little things and those hurdles and challenges and problems, they are small compared to your bigger mission,
Mm-hmm.
compared to your bigger goal. And that's the motivation where you get it from. And that's how you become that leader. And this is the third part where you can unlock your brilliance. You
Yeah.
can brand yourself, brand your offer, brand your service, and define and write and articulate magnetic messaging so that you can attract more customers, more partners. Depends on the business plan you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also go through all the skills to become the leader, and what is it that leaders do, what is it that leaders don't do compared to manager. Leadership and management are different set of skills,
Mm-hmm.
because what we want to unleash the creativity. We want to have you so aligned with your inner belief that you can hear your intuition guiding you, because that's how you reach the goal, no matter how big it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely well said. And I think that's a very well structured plan there, in three different distinct segments. And you've explained it beautifully. I just wanted to, if you're okay with me asking, were you always the confident, self-believing woman that you are right now? Or did you also go through some period of self-doubt, especially working in male-dominated environments and different cultures from your own, as you said, exploring, science and engineering courses and then going on to the Harvard University, etc. Did you struggle with self-doubt at some point of time? And if yes, how did you overcome it? And what lessons might be there for our listeners and viewers?
I struggled with self-doubt, and I also have gone through my own pain, being, in a finance world, in man-dominated world. You as a woman sometimes sit in board meetings and you say something and nobody listens until another man repeats it and they clap him. And so I've gone through that. I know what it is. I know what it
Right.
is that you just sit and you just want to be quiet because that's what you are in this society. But you need to always keep on strengthening yourself and getting yourself stronger in believing that you have a bigger mission, and it's okay. If today they didn't listen to you, tomorrow they will. And it takes a lot of perseverance, resilience, but also repetition of positive beliefs in yourself. I also know what it is to reach the top and having to fall back off again and raising up again. And that's why I wrote in my book is after some setbacks, I was managing $1 million funds, and I said, okay, I came home that day. I remember with so many problems, how work can be challenging. And I looked at I have a boy and 3 girls, and I looked at my 3 girls and I say, I will not let them put me down, because I want to be a model for my 3 girls.
Sure.
And this is what empowered me. That moment is still forever inside me. And it makes me still so sensitive, because I want to tell to every girl around the world, no matter what happens to you, no matter what they've done to you, it's not your fault. Stand up and carry on, because you are so perfect inside you, and you have everything it takes to shine like a diamond, no matter what happens. So that strength, how can we find it? We find it from something that inspires us. We find it from role models who have not had an easy path. And trust me, nobody reached higher success without falling and standing back up again. Success is only the next step after you fall. So don't let falling stops you. Stand back up again and strengthen up. Because you are standing on the shoulders of many women who have done it before. So that's my inspiration that's why I speak from my heart to every young girl and every young woman around the world and around my part of the world. That's where the billion come from, is all that developing world that needs to wake up and appreciate how perfect they are inside them. And if there is some skills that are missing, get the skills. You said it. You can access anything, learn, be ready to excel in whatever you do, and carry on and believe in yourself.
Carry on, carry on. That deserves a huge round of applause. It does. What a powerful, emotional message there, from your own personal journey. And I love what you said. Success is the next step after you fall down. I really love that. Success is the next step after you fall down. Dr. Hynd, what you mentioned time and again during our interaction was what Jack Canfield calls the inner work. And I also believe that it's the inner work that's always more important than the skill set and all of the things that you can learn outside in the world, because you're going to run up against these internal barriers, this conditioning or the 20,000 negative thoughts that have been put into your head that you can't do it, you're not good enough, you don't deserve it. Nobody's done it before. This is not for you. Go find something more suitable for yourself, etc., etc. You have to challenge those self-limiting beliefs. I think that's the essence of what you've pointed to a couple of times during our interaction today. It's been a remarkable conversation. Thanks for sharing with us all these insights, your personal journey, and your vision for the future. Any parting words of inspiration for our viewers, and also how can they know more about you and your courses and your book, etc., please?
Thank you. I just love it talking with you. Yes, to every woman, to every young woman, power up and be the leader. Every woman is born to be a leader. And that's why I would like to invite you all to join and learn more about the BELL method, because you will not only start believing in yourself and in your dream, you'll get everything you need to act on it and become the leader as well. So there is maybe a link to send your application in, and I would love to have you with us and to join this amazing community of empowered leaders from around the world, actually.
Definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Dr. Hynd Bouhia from Morocco. Thank you. You will find additional resources, her social media contacts, a purchase link for her book, and enrollment link for her courses and her website, everything in the description below. Please feel free to reach out to her on social media and send your questions across and know more about her work as a transformational coach. Once again, Dr. Hynd Bouhia, we are so very grateful to you for your time, for your positive energy, and for the depth of wisdom for women and men across the world. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you.